Hi, this is Karen at Snickerdoodle Designs. Are you looking for a creative gift idea? One you can make yourself, one that's fast, easy, and says, I cared enough about you to make something special just for you. How about a coloring book created from your own photographs? Coloring is so popular right now. Children have always loved to color, but now we see adult coloring books everywhere. I thought it would be really fun to create a personalized coloring book from our own photographs, and so I developed this tutorial on how to create a sketch from a photo, and then you can bind your sketches into a coloring book. So let's go ahead and get started on the sketch process. We're going to start with this original photograph. This is the sketch we will end up with, and I sent the sketch to a friend of mine who is an adult color enthusiast, and she hand colored the sketch for me. At the end I will show you how a 3-year-old colored a similar sketch, and that's actually really fun too. So let's go ahead and get started with this photograph. This is my grandson Owen, and I am working, whoops, I have a extra layer there. Let's get rid of that. I am working on a duplicate photo. As always, that's the best thing to do. A lot of people like to open an original and then duplicate it and then hide the original, such as this. I'm using Control J to duplicate it and then just hide the background. My personal preference is just to open to go ahead now and save this as a duplicate and save my original in another location. I personally just don't feel comfortable having that original photograph in my layers panel. So I'm going to drag that to the trash, and this is our background that we're working on. I'm going to just click on that layer, that lock, to unlock that layer. So there are several steps to create this sketch, and it's actually very easy though. So first of all, we want to duplicate our photo, and I can do that by coming up to image duplicate, or file duplicate, I think, but I'm in such a habit of using keyboard shortcuts. The keyboard short is Control J, and we have a duplicate. The next thing we need to do is desaturate this photo, and I have played around with desaturate versus changing to black and white. The end result is fairly similar. Black and white, there's a little bit more contrast between the black and white, whereas desaturate gives a bit more of an even look, and I found that that seemed to work a little bit better. So to do that, and again, I'm working in Photoshop Creative Cloud 2015. The written tutorial has the Photoshop Elements 14 keyboard shortcuts or directions. In Photoshop, we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and down to Desaturate. Next, we want to duplicate that desaturated layer. So again, I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut Control J to desaturate, or to copy that desaturated layer. Let's go ahead and just name these. And that'll just make it a little easier to keep track of them. Alright, so now we have our layers named here. Let's go up to Image, Adjustments, Invert, and we are on this desaturated copy. And we get this weird looking thing right here, but we're going to fix that. It's going to look a little odder before it looks better. Come over to the blend modes in your layer panel. Again, we're on the desaturate copy, and we want to change that to color dodge. Now it's totally white. And again, it looks odd, but that's okay. Now we need to go up to Filter, Other, and Minimum. A really little used filter in my world, but it works perfectly here. And now we have a sketch. We make sure you have this preview box ticked so you see what you're doing, but we want to adjust this radius from 1 to 3 pixels, usually works best. That's 15, which looks pretty bad for a sketch, I think. But you can play around with this to see how you like it. I actually sent several copies of this to my friend who does a lot of coloring, and she, as a colorist, preferred the lighter shadows, the lighter lines, because it didn't interfere the shadowing in the pants and the hair and the shirt didn't interfere with her coloring as much. Actually, I think she preferred this. I have played around with the squareness and the roundness. There's not a whole lot of difference. Well, there is on this particular one, but in some of the other images I've played with, there really wasn't a whole lot of difference in the changing in the look of this. So experiment with it and see what you like. For my needs right now, I think this is fine. Just click OK. Now, if you see that you would like the lines a little bit darker, you can come over and add a levels adjustment. Just click on that levels adjustment and drag the slider to the right. Looks like I may have to slide it quite a bit to the right. And when you get to this, the beginning of the curve here, that's where you'll really start to notice the difference. But according to what my colorist friend said, she preferred this, and so I left it at that. And that's all you need to do to create your sketch. For children, I would probably make those lines a little bit darker. It's easier for them to stay inside the lines. You can also, if you like, just as a little extra, now bring this, see this color layer isn't doing anything. When you turn it off, you notice there's no change. Bring that up to the top of your layers panel, and you can change the blend modes to play around with it to give it a little color. And that's just something, different to do, just for fun. If you want a different look, you can cycle through the blend modes using the down pointing arrow on your keyboard as well. But I'm going to turn that off because the sketch is what I wanted to focus on today. You can print out several of these, as many as you like. You can bind them with an inexpensive binder, or you can take them to a print shop and they can do the spiral bound for you. Last time I did that, it cost just a few dollars. It wasn't expensive at all. And especially if you're going to give this as a gift to somebody, it's a really fun gift to give. I might have closed it. Let me take a quick look down here. I'm sorry, it looks like I did close it, so let me see if I can find that sketch. There we go. This is the grandson, 3-year-old grandson of my friend. I actually took a picture, or his grandmother sent me a picture of him and his sister, and I changed that into a sketch, and he is having a lot of fun coloring it. If you don't want to create a coloring book, you can use the sketch technique to just create interesting effects for your layouts. This is one where I move the color photograph above the sketch and I changed the blend mode to color, and it just gave a really, really fun look to this photograph, and it would be fun for a scrapbook layout. So that's it. Be sure to download the PFD file if you need the Photoshop Elements directions. Thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next week.